I welcome you all. Let's try to find out the dividend growth rate. For finding the dividend growth rate, we already know that we have taken the dividend details of the company. And after taking these details, I have prepared one Excel sheet for you. Now, many of the analysts think that the dividend can be calculated and the growth rate can be calculated for whole period of the company. That is, since the inception of the company, what is the growth rate of dividend for the company? While many other people think that the dividend growth rate can be considered only for the previous 5 years, because previous 5 years represent the majority of the recent trends. So based upon that, I shall show you the growth rate based upon previous 10 years also and based upon previous 5 years also. Now, you may see that there is some error inside this formula. So these are not the errors. Once I shall feed the data inside this yellow blank area, we shall get our results. And once we get our results, I shall show you how to interpret those results. So if I take the details of our date and the amount of dividend, I paste these details here, so we get our growth rates here. Now, how I have calculated these growth rates is an important thing. If you see that our whole period include the details from July 2011 to July 2021. So this is a period of 10 years. In this period of 10 years, if you see that these details belong quarter wise, so you can see that dividend was paid in July, then October, then January, then April, then July, then October, then December, then April, and then July again. So the dividend pattern for Caterpillar company is quarterly. And if you see the dividend, then there are total of 41 times the company has paid dividend in the previous 10 years. So it means that if I want to calculate quarterly growth rate, how we can do that? We can simply select the formula inside the Excel. Now, you will say that I don't understand how the growth rate formula has been used. And I tell you one more thing again, that these sessions are for those people who already know some intermediate knowledge. If you don't know how to calculate the formula of growth rate, I have provided a separate appendix after these sessions so you can see that how these have been calculated. But for the time being, my goal is to let you understand the financial modeling, calculation of annual growth rate, and calculation of WACC. The interpretation is being done here, and after interpretation, if you don't understand the formulas, then you can see the appendix section. Now, showing that there is a 40 period time here. 40 period time means that there are a total of 40 quarters in these 10 years, because every single year have total of 4 quarters. Now, if we try to convert this quarterly growth rate into annual growth rate, we shall simply use the quarterly rate to the raised to power 4, because every year have 4 quarters. So if you see this 9.21%, this is the annual growth rate of dividend based upon the historical dividend data of previous 10 years. But majority of the analysts think that the recent 5 years reflects more latest growth rate. So many of the people use the 5 years data also. And if you see that how the 5 years growth rate has been calculated, so you will say that this B43 divided by B23, and if you go here, you will see that this is the dividend of 2016, which is $0.77, and there is another dividend which is latest dividend is 1.11, which is in 2021, which means that we have seen the growth rate from 2016 to 2020 for 5 years. Now, if you see that this is there are total 20 periods here. Why 20 period? Because in the 5 years, there are 4 quarters in each year, so there are total 20 quarters. And the quarterly growth rate in the recent 5 years is 1.85%. Now, if we try to convert that quarterly growth rate into our annual growth rate, you will see that again I have used the quarterly rate and it raised to the power 4 for getting the annual growth rate. This annual growth rate 7.59% is representing recent trending growth rate. After calculating this growth rate, we shall use these details in our major Gordon's growth formula. And along with that, if you see our chart, you can see a good pattern that the dividend has been increasing from 2011 to 2021 in the recent period. I see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye.